Are we filming? Yes, we are. Are we filming? Yes, we are. So welcome to another podcast. I think it's time for a podcast. Just to start with, I just saw something on Reddit which made me smile because someone is talking about me. So I just want to share that with you. And they say, oops, let's turn it around. Henrietta says, so there's a discussion about whether men use filofaxes and also the split between men and women. So Henrietta says, the YouTuber Flatability is a man that uses personal sizes and smaller. I'd recommend giving him a look if you want an example of a non-aesthetic, hyper-functional use of a ring binder. Praise indeed. But she goes on to say, and I will stress, his style would probably scare a lot of the planner ladies out there. He cuts his own inserts and they're cut poorly so the pages aren't all aligned. I assume he doesn't use a ruler or cutter to maximise how fast he can make more inserts. Well, that's actually very observant. He free draws the lines, boxes on his inserts, and he crumples each page before putting them in so they can be turned better. I quite enjoyed that. I've got to refer to my phone on this one, so forgive me for that. But just before we start, I'll just give you a rundown of the binders I'm using this week. So to start with, Filofax Portland D-ringed. I'm using this as a wallet and notebook, but there is a slight change. Recently, I got the impression that I was about to be robbed because I was using this and it had my cards in it. So I'm kind of not having this on show quite so much, only when I'm buying something. Yes, there is some paper in here, but I think I might use less paper, so I'm only using this for emergencies. One thing I've got in here, as you probably know, and it's really, really effective, is this Lumos, this Tom Studio Lumos, with the Lumos Zoop that I have threaded through one of the treasury tags. It just hangs down like this, and so it can't fall out. And this was very, very useful. I was at earlier on today an annual general meeting of an organisation, and for my sins, and I couldn't find my pen, and so I ended up using the Lumos, which has got some Heart of Darkness at the moment, and that was very, very useful. Got me out of a pickle. Got me out of trouble because it was my emergency EDC pen, and it worked. It's probably the first time that I've found myself in recent months, where I found myself without a main pen, a primary pen, and it saved the day because I had to write notes in the AGM. So fair play to me, I guess, for having that spare EDC pen. What else am I using? Well, I'm carrying a range of notebooks because I'm not revealing or getting out my Filofax Portland out of my pocket in general public quite so much. Two I'm using at the moment, and I'm really enjoying these. This is the plotter, which has got the mini 5 size, 5 rings, and this is English bridal leather. It's getting better and better and better. The Me Plus, this is the mini reporter, which has got the 3-ring style. I'm using this, but it's going to take a little while to break this in. But I really, really like this. As a sort of vertical notebook style. It's a format that I've used in the past. When I was using my Filofax M2 same 3-ring format as my EDC, and then I dropped it. But I'm just enjoying using this as a notebook. No specific format, but I'm using it as a notebook and I'm enjoying it. I'm always using, at the moment, for the next 18 months, I'm using my Moleskine data a page diary, which I'm using as a journal. That's working out very, very well. But my main pen in there is my Pilot G2 because of the variation in paper quality with regards to fountain pen ink. G2's okay. I'm using, this is my medical diary, which is an 18-month diary, week on 2 pages. I'm filling in lots of details, which helps my doctor or physician when I see them for consultation. So it's all in one place, and I just keep it as a separate medical diary or a journal with weight, blood pressure, sleeping times, how I feel, that sort of thing. So that's really, really useful to me. This is my main working tool, which is, at the moment, I've got this on. I'm using this. I'm road testing every day, maybe for a year or certainly a few months. This is the Me Plus Slim Pad in personal size. Fabulous with a capital F. This is my secondary binder, which is, so the Me Plus has the next 75 days. This has on a two pages per day, so plenty of real estate. This covers the next 75 days of my diary ahead of schedule, so that's working very, very well. In here are podcast ideas and also ideas for videos. So one side is for videos, turn it up. The other side is podcast notes, and this is a plotter, again, personal size or Bible size. Nice. I'm not using it quite as much as the Me Plus. They're virtually identical, but this is developing a really nice patina or patina, because I'm using this several times a day. It's my main working tool. This is coming up on the rails, because it's just starting to develop that sort of feel that is just so tactile. Really, really nice. So I love this Pueblo leather. Finally, this is a binder that you're all probably familiar with, regular viewers anyway. This is the binder. It's a Filofax Sherwood, absolute fantastic, perfect flatability from day one, ticks all the boxes, superb. And I use this as a reference, so A to Z along there, 26 dividers, and this is something I use every day, more or less, and I've used it for just over 32 years, and I love it. So let's go get on with the first comment. So Ivan is a channel member, and in response to my unexpected pen video, no, I'm going to scrub that, because that's not going to be seen on. That's not going to be seen, because that's an exclusive for channel members. So I'll either have to edit that out, or I might even just leave it in there. But it's one of my exclusives. Just talking about this, at least at the moment, what I'm aiming to do is make 2 videos a week, maybe more, but I try a minimum, if I can, of 2 videos for the wider viewing public, and then I shoot a couple of videos exclusively for channel members, and this is one of them. So I can't reveal to you what Ivan said, but it is very, very useful. Okay, so Sunny says, who just happens to be a channel member of mine, and he's responding to a video where I was talking about how Filofaxes and other binders are on my mind to such an extent that I have a notebook. I have a notebook in every room, including my bedroom. And now again, I will wake up with an idea relating to paper-based productivity, and I will write it down, and I will go to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I will have no recollection. And so I look periodically at typically when I'm having a coffee at the beginning of the day, I look at the notebook that I have in my bedroom on my nightstand, and I sometimes come across things that I've written in the night, and I've had no recollection of that. Some ideas are really rubbish, really pants, and other ideas have been developed into a video. Sunny says, that's funny. I dream every night about what pens I'm going to use the next morning or what notebook systems I will switch to. So fair enough. I feel like there's safety in numbers here. So I'm clearly not the only one. I do this for other, I mean, it's not just Filofaxes. I think of ideas. I've been doing this since I was at school. I think, I've no idea where it comes from, but I'm probably sort of a creative. So it works for me, but I don't dream about Filofaxes exclusively. I mean, I do dream, and sometimes I wake up and I don't know what I've dreamt about. Sometimes I have some great dreams, and then I wake up too early and I think, oh, would it be nice to get to where I'm going on, like in the car or something in my dream, and it is a strange thing, but I'm sure other people are exactly the same. But interesting that someone has kindly supported me in this thing. Okay, so 12th Half Shell, that's an interesting name. Says good value for money in this video. A review, real estate advice, i.e. don't buy that vicarage, and an unearthly voice from beyond the grave, just in time for Halloween. When I did this, a little bit of humour goes a long way. I didn't really, I mean, when I don't rehearse this sort of thing. I may have a few bullet points, but I don't have a script. So it just came out in that way. And when I edited the video, I thought, where did that come from? But and I thought, I'm just going to leave it in. So it was a bit of fun, and it was great to leave it in. So I hope that it made a few viewers smile. So Johnny Ragadoo says, and this is in response to my Bay State Blue ink test. He says, I think Feynman called this sort of thing twisting the dragon's tail. I've never worked up the nerve to try Bay State Blue. Well, I have been using it. I have been using it in anger. The situation is that I've got it in two pens, two of these TWSBI Goes, a broad nib, which is this one, and a medium nib. And I'll tell you what, the broad nib, when you use it on the page, let me see if I've got an example of that. I think I have. Let's find it somewhere. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. Let me find, is it on this side? It's on this side, so let's find it. Okay, so here we go. I mean, it's a cobalt blue, and and you can see that I'm writing fast, and when I write fast, I write cursive, joined up writing. And the reason why I do it is sometimes I just get carried away. Jack Kerouac had the famous American writer. He had a system. It is it's not really a digression, but it just was in my mind. He actually joins sheets of paper, so they would go through his typewriter without having to fit new sheets of A4 paper or whatever. So he could just type and type and type and keep going, and he didn't even he wasn't messing about. It was just free flow thinking, without much in the way of punctuation. He just kept going, and that was his method, and it created this amazing this amazing flow of ideas when he wrote. And sometimes I do that with my writing. So I'm just here. I just had this idea, and it flowed and flowed and flowed. But what I like about that is I'm not worried about the inevitable bleed through, because it's just this cheap 50 GSM paper, and I just write on it single-sided. At least I do with this Bay State Blue, which is notorious for bleed through. Let me see if I can. There we go. Isn't that bleed through awful? I mean, it's just horrendous. But that's not the point. The point is what's going on this side of the page, and that cobalt blue is just. Okay, it is a dangerous thing. One of my someone's pointed out that it may not be compatible with this acrylic in this TWSBI Go, but we'll see. But it just sort of someone said it just leaps off the page, and I'll tell you what, the way I feel, it doesn't just leap off the page. It leaps off the page and slaps you around the face while it's about it. So I love it. So I am using it at the moment. Time will tell whether that's a good idea, but it's a bit of fun, and I am in love with Bay State Blue. So Branches, interesting name, says there's nothing wrong with using Bay State Blue as an everyday ink. All my pens are fairly dark, so I have no issue using Bay State Blue. You can barely see my stains, because Bay State Blue tends to stain everything it touches, unless you look at them closely. If you plan on selling your pens in the future, then don't use Bay State Blue. If you're keeping all your pens, then go for it. Enjoy the colour. Just remember to clean thoroughly if switching between inks. Now, this is my plan. Okay, this isn't a $1 or a $2 fountain pen. I mean, it's a TWSBI Go. Here in the UK, they're just over £20. I've got 5 of these. I love them. I absolutely love them. What I've decided to do is just I cleaned these thoroughly. 2 of them, a broad nib and a medium nib, and I decided to make those my dedicated Bay State Blue pens. So I'm not that worried about cleaning them, because I'm not going to be changing inks. So this is just something. These 2 pens. Have I got another one here? No, it's in the it's in the other room. But I'm just going to dedicate these pens to Bay State Blue and see how we go. There is a risk. It's it's sort of fairly interesting ink, to put it mildly. But I just love that colour. So it is quite addictive. So I'm going to see, and obviously if there's any problems, then I will report back to you. But I thought I'll try a medium nib and a bold nib so that there's plenty of ink going through, and then I can just see what's what and report back to you. So Ivan, one of my channel members, says, and again we're talking about the Bay State Blue ink test. If you want an ink that has roughly the same colour as Bay State Blue, but none of the maintenance issues, see if you can get your hands on a sample of Aurora Blue. Well, it's a darker ink. I've had a look at this. It seems to be a much darker ink. I have got quite a few inks that are similar. The attraction for me is that the Bay State Blue just leaps off the page. There's nothing quite like it. Whereas Aurora Blue is kind of a dark ink, very, 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 very similar to other inks. I will get a bottle at some point, so I have put it on my acquisition list. Thanks to Ivan's recommendation. It's not going to be anytime soon, but I will get one, and then I'll do a review. But one of the things that I look for in an ink is permanence. Just in case a journal or a notebook gets into becomes immersed in water or gets soaked in water, I want the ink to stay legible for future generations. Or me, if I fall in a river and have to swim and get out and I don't want to lose my notes. Now that sounds a bit dramatic, but I was hiking in the mountains here in Wales a few weeks ago, and the path was very, very close to a very steep drop into a reservoir, a very deep reservoir. So it's doing that sort of thing is not without its risks when you're on mountain paths and you're alongside mountain streams or a reservoir or a lake. So there is a risk that you will encounter water, either full immersion, or just relentless rain. There's a risk. So I'm very, very keen on using inks that have good properties for guarding against still being legible after being in contact with water. One of the problems, if it is a problem, is that I have so many inks now, over 100 inks, that I am never ever going to get through all those inks in a lifetime, even though I'm a prolific writer. So every time I buy a new ink now, I have to think about how I'm going to use it. Would I buy a bottle of ink just to do some testing, for instance? Well, I've got enough pens because I'm interested in trying different colours every day. Even if they're just fun inks where they're here and they're less likely to be exposed to water. But I have to be careful about this. I mean, I might end up selling a almost complete bottle on eBay just to test it and then move it on, so that I can test a lot more inks. But at the moment, the Aurora Blue is on my acquisitions list. Okay, so Sharon says, again, Bay State Blue. They say, "You are a brave man. I would never go near Noodler's Bay State Blue." dangerous? Okay, well, time will tell. Okay, so Klaus says, and this is a video I did recently where I paid £208 for this plotter binder, principally because I bought it from a reseller and had to pay import duties and VAT and handling fees, and it all totaled to £208, not dollars, pounds. And Klaus says, Dear Neil, your video is very interesting. I'd like to add a business idea. Filofax or another manufacturer could design an organizer that interacts with the digital personal organization system. I think a product with these features is a significant business opportunity. As a former organizer user, I'm sure there's much room for development in regards. Well, Filofax have this system, don't they? This QR code system, which you will find on many of their personal and, I believe, A5 packs of diary inserts. You can also buy a classic version. Classic means that it's the same as it used to be with no QR code. The thing is, it's, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, it is quite a long-winded way of creating a combined digital and analog record. So you have to download the app, and then you have to scan the QR codes. You have to take a picture of what you've written in your Filofax. And then there's an option to add it if you want to either Google or Apple's calendar apps. Well, in all the time I've been commenting on this, I think it's about 2 years now, only one person, only one correspondent has said they really like it. Everybody else is unhappy with it. I think that's partly because the QR code takes up so much space, especially with a week on 2 pages diary. But the other thing is, if you're going to immerse yourself in the analog world, you're probably already using maybe a digital app like Google or Apple Calendar. So is this a duplication of effort? And also, crucially, is Filofax going to carry on with this, or are they going to quietly drop it due to lack of demand? I don't know. My personal opinion is, because I've got a foot in both camps, so I keep a digital diary going, especially with repetitive events or tasks, like do something every Sunday or do something every 5 days, and so I keep a diary going. I've been doing it for years on Apple's calendar, partly because it's so easy and I can do it on my phone or my laptop or my iMac, and then it populates across all devices. So I think that's a very, very good idea. But it also allows you to have unlimited storage capacity. It also gets automatically uploaded to the cloud. So there's a lot of advantages in using a digital system. But I'm not sure whether the Filofax system, it doesn't get my vote. And there's an awful lot of people saying to Filofax, well, we're not happy with these QR codes. Can you remove them? And as I understand it, sufficient number of people got in touch with Filofax that they offered somewhat belatedly, because I don't think they were planning on doing this. Somewhat belatedly, due to customer demands, they offered a classic version with no QR code. Interesting. I personally think it's a retrograde step. If I could put money on it, and I'm not a gambling person, I would say there's a good chance that they're going to quietly drop it at some point. But I may be wrong. And I am just one person, and I it's not my business. It's not my company. So, we'll just have to wait and see whether they do that. But thank you, Klaus. Okay, Jay Whitty says, and this is a video I made some time ago, entitled "Is this the ultimate EDC pen?" Which was my I love these inserts, and this is the 1mm Pilot G2 insert, not the Parker G2 insert that is kind of the industry standard. This is the Pilot one, but I use the 1mm nib. And Jay Whitty says, Parker sells a gel ink cartridge, Quink Gel, I think. That is a direct placement for the Kaweco cartridge. Yes, so the Kaweco Sport pen takes a Pilot G2 cartridge as standard. And he says, no need to go through the hassle of cutting, etc. I have found these Parker cartridges to be superior to anything else on the market. Now, I haven't used a Parker G2. I've only used the, as far as gel inks are concerned, I've only used the Pilot G2 version. But I had a little look at, and I was going to buy a Parker replacement cartridge, just to test it out. But I could not they're only available in 0.5 and 0.7mm. There is no 1mm version, so I've decided not to try it. But I'm just going by what Jay Whitty says, and that is that in his opinion, they are superior to anything else on the market. So presumably Jay Whitty has tested quite a few, and he thinks it's superior to anything on the market. So that's interesting to know. But I've decided in this particular case, unless someone proves me otherwise, I'm going to stick to my tried and trusted 1mm nib, because it's such a thick line. I really, really like the way it just pops off the page. I like it. So sometimes tried and trusted is the enemy of discovery, isn't it? But I'm going to do it. I'm going to just stick to this at the moment. I have put the Parker G2 0.7mm on my someday maybe list. So never say never. Okay, so I think it's the last podcast, or the last but one podcast. So Gmax says, gosh, there are a lot of YouTube advert interruptions these days. I counted 6 in this one, which is about an hour, just over an hour, I think. So that's one every 10 minutes, isn't it? Gracious. Fortunately, the button to skip them didn't take as long to appear as I've seen earlier. Well, there's a lot to unpack here, but I thought I would address this not in a video, because I feel a bit subconscious about the I didn't want to come across as being defiant or triumphant or patronizing, but this is how I think it is. This is me saying it how it is. So I have asked people in the past, How do they feel about mid-roll ads? What is a mid-roll ad? A mid-roll ad is an advert that is placed by YouTube, not by me, by YouTube, somewhere in the mid-roll of the video that I have created. So I've created the video, my labour, my time, and then I'm loading the video. I'm using YouTube, which is a free platform. I don't pay money to YouTube. So I guess they've got these servers all over the place, and there's equipment, there's staff to maintain it. There's a certain element of cost to hosting and storing data that has to be paid for by someone. And there are three choices. The choices are: the content creator pays. So I started off when I was on Patreon a couple of years ago. I got my videos hosted by Vimeo, which is a paid-for service where I had to pay Vimeo for them to host my videos. So that is one option, that I go to a platform that where I have to pay to have my videos hosted. But that's not really gonna work, because YouTube is king here. I wouldn't get the views anywhere else other than YouTube. It's just become the dominant player for video hosting, in the same way that online sales are hosted by Amazon, and eBay auctions are the main player in terms of auctions, online auctions. It's just the way it is. The second choice is the viewer pays. The viewer pays, like pay-per-view TV, or satellite TV, Sky, etc. You pay a monthly fee, and then you can watch those adverts. Or the third option is ads. And this is, I guess, where it gets tricky, because ads can be annoying. I totally get that. Personally, most of the time, I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't ever see any ads. And here in the UK, it costs me, I think, £13. And out of all the subscriptions that I pay for, I tend to pay for two. One is YouTube Premium, and the other is the professional version of ChatGPT. Artificial intelligence that gives me ideas, and I've been experimenting with ChatGPT to give me. It helps me with creating some ideas. And I've been very, very open about that. I don't muck about with thumbnails and the video per se, but I do find it useful, because I can be having a shower and I'm chatting to, in this case, ChatGPT. Although as we know, there are many AI platforms now, and so I'm talking to a machine, and I find I mean, I know it's the future. I know you can't put the genie back in the bottle, but I actually find it very, very good. And we have a sort of pseudo discussion. I'm sure that if I was a student, if we could roll the clock back 50 years, I am sure that I would be using AI to help me with my studies. And I don't mean write out essays for me. I mean just help me with studies, because, and I'm going I'm winding things back at the moment because, I'm a pensioner. I can remember projects at school. This is before the internet age. And we had to do two things. One is we had to produce good quality work, like a project, a history project or something like that. And digesting and compiling and creating a project was one thing, but I remember having to go on the waiting list for certain textbooks at the library because other people had beaten me to it. And so you've got a class of, say, 30 kids, and we're all after a certain book at the library. And it was the fastest person to get hold of certain library books that had the best project, because the information was very, very... the hardest thing at school for me was getting hold of the information that I needed. It was just looking back, it was outrageous, I think, that you were set tasks, but then you were in competition with other students to get hold of the information. And if you lost out, you had to abandon that project. I mean, just absolutely crazy. There were textbooks at school, but you weren't allowed to take them home because the school feared that we wouldn't return them. So everything, you were given a textbook in the class, and then it was taken away from you a bit before you moved on to your next lesson. So it was just crowd control rather than learning. And then I left school at 16, got a job in a camera shop, actually, which is because I'm interested in photography. So that was really good. And I went to night school, evening classes, to finish. Back in those days, they were things called GCEs, O-levels here in the UK, which have now been superseded by GCSEs, which have an element of coursework. But back in the day, it was a real struggle for to get hold of information. Very, very difficult. And I'm digressing here, but this whole thing about ads, and this gentleman spotted 6 ads. He had to, I'm assuming he watched the whole thing, just over an hour, I think, podcast 45. These ads were one every 10 minutes. So very, very similar to what you might find when you're watching commercial TV. Although you can't skip the commercial TV ones, you have to sit through them or go and have a cup of tea or check your Facebook or do something. But with regards to ads, they're a necessary evil. What I do is, if I'm not using my YouTube Premium, if I have to watch the ads, I just let them run. And to be honest, I use the opportunity to go and make a cup of tea or something, because I'm acutely aware that the content creator is earning money from those ads. And if they're skipped all the time, then the content creator earns virtually nothing, if anything at all. And many content creators are saying that the way things are working at YouTube, you can many content creators are reporting a fall in the advertising revenue. Who knows whether that's true or not? My advertising revenue is rising all the time, which really pleases me. It tops up my pension. It wouldn't be enough to live on, because I guess I'm in a really niche market. I'm in a niche within a niche. Here am I talking about paper-based productivity systems, which is a niche in itself, and then I talk about things like pens and ink and paper types and filofaxes and vintage filofaxes. So it's very it's very narrow, that the number of people that are interested in that. But a few months ago, earlier this year, we all got we were all told, because YouTube give content creators, they send out edicts or emails every now and again, and one of them was concerning those of us who just elect to have videos played at the beginning of not videos played, adverts played at the beginning of a video, and it was hinted at that if we carried on doing that collectively, those that did that, i.e. wouldn't allow YouTube to place mid-roll ads on videos, would have their videos, the views of their videos restricted in some way. So I thought, am I going to play ball here, or am I going to just take the hit that videos aren't going to be shown? And I thought, well, I put so much effort into this, and sometimes it's I get tired really easily now, probably because of all the medication I'm on. So I have to do this in bursts. And you can probably tell that I'm a little bit tired doing this one, because this is going to be an hour-long video, and I struggle with an hour now. Hopefully it won't get any worse, but certainly I'm under pressure from physically from tiredness. It can be quite an effort. But I'm losing my train of thought. So I think I'm gonna stop. I'm just saying. Sorry about the ads. It depends. Some people are reporting hardly any ads at all. Other people are reporting quite a lot of ads. There is an option. There are two options here. But I feel reluctant to explain it. But because it is, I'm stating the obvious. One option is to go for YouTube Premium, which I think is a really good experience. It doesn't cost very much, and it gives you access to literally millions of YouTube channels, and you never get to see another ad. There's also a thing coming in called Premium Lite, YouTube Lite, or YouTube Premium Lite. I don't know anything about that, but that's slightly cheaper. But certainly in the UK, I pay £13, and essentially a proportion of that money that I pay goes to content creators. So I'm not seeing the ads, but that money goes to content creators, and I can see from my stats, I can see how much I get from ads, how much I get my cut of the YouTube Premium money, and the other thing, of course, is I get an income from channel memberships. What is a channel membership? A channel membership gives you any content creator can create a channel membership program, and for me it means that if people sign up for channel membership, and there's a link above this video, and there's also a link in the description of this video, it gives you access to just about everything, unless I make a mistake with the advertising settings. I do sometimes, occasionally. It basically means everything is advert free for £1 a month, which I don't want to do the normal comparison to a cup of coffee at Starbucks, but £1 or the equivalent in your currency is it doesn't buy much. But what it does mean is that I can create content, enjoyable content, meaningful content for those people that don't want to pay YouTube Premium, but they don't want to see the ads either. And so that is I'm really, really shocked at how many channel members I now have, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. But it doesn't just enable people to watch all my videos, or virtually all of them, advert free, but I make videos specifically for channel members. Quite a lot of content. It's a growing number of there's a huge library now of exclusive videos that no one will ever see unless you're a channel member. So there's options there. I think ads are a necessary evil. The whole I know I'm banging on about this, and I don't want to make a habit of it, but I just thought I'd take this opportunity to explain not just how it works, although I think most people know that it's ads that fund YouTube, it's ads that fund commercial TV, it's ads that give people that can't afford to pay for digital services an opportunity to watch digital content without actually paying any money out in return for having ads served, which, in fairness to YouTube, after a few seconds you can skip them and get rid of them. Not all of them. Some of them you have to watch all the way through, but it is what it is. It is how it works. It's the way every digital platform works. It's how everybody gets along. But when I watch videos, and occasionally a couple of times over the last 12 months, I've cancelled my channel membership, and then a month later I've changed my mind and not channel membership, my YouTube Premium membership. There's been a couple of times when I thought, do I need it? And then I thought, I can't live with watching these ads. So I do appreciate they're annoying, but I've banged on long enough about it. But yeah, I'm trying to be kind to content creators when I watch ads, and I may not watch them like glued to the screen, but what I can do is just open a new window on my screen, or go and cup of tea, or check my phone, just turn the volume down on my laptop, which I think a lot of people do. I'd love to see the stats. YouTube doesn't give me the stats showing the proportion of videos that are actually watched all the way through. I think it'd probably be quite low, but I'm trying to, if that is the case, and I'm not in a YouTube Premium situation, then that's what I do, because it helps generate money for the content creator. And I think that although there is this reluctance to pay for content, whether it be a news channel or sports, things are increasingly hidden behind a paywall. And I suppose, my premium content, even though I'm only charging £1 or the equivalent in your currency, it is a paywall. But I think that if you, there is this expectation that everything's going to be free. That once you become a poacher turned gamekeeper, if you like, and you're on the other side of the fence, and you're hiding some of your, you're allowing your videos to have adverts. So I don't know what the future holds, because if for instance everybody, well, actually it wouldn't happen. What I'm going on about is when I started 4 years ago, the if you weren't monetized, you wouldn't expect to see adverts on your material. But then YouTube had an idea. They said, right, even though we're not going to pay you because you're not monetized, we are now going to start putting ads on your content. So we're not going to pay you, but we're going to make money from your content. And of course, we couldn't survive without somewhere to, we couldn't survive without YouTube. But by the same token, YouTube can't survive without us as content creators. But also, critically, the whole system falls flat on its face if no one watches ads. No one is prepared to accept that ads are a necessary evil, sort of thing. To be honest, some of the adverts I watched are actually quite interesting. So I watch them purely because, I'm a bit of a nerdy character and I'm interested in virtually everything I come across. But it is what it is. The adverts are there. I'm sorry if adverts are, annoying. But there are options. Become a sign up to YouTube Premium, or become a channel member and get rid of the adverts completely, and also enjoy a growing collection of premium content. Right, there we go. Are we up to the hour? We're not quite, but I tell you what, because as you can probably tell, I'm waffling now, and I'm not feeling great. I'm gonna leave it there. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to not leave it so long for another podcast, but I'm just going to bide my time and pick a time when I'm feeling well enough to do one. If this tiredness gets worse, then what I might do is do more podcasts, but half-hour podcasts instead of an hour's podcast. But we'll see. But I do like doing them. I really, really like doing them. But it is I'm facing a bit of a battle with the tiredness sometimes. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hanging in there. And my doctor or physician says I could last quite a long time. So I'll take that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Until my next podcast or video, goodbye.